Book 16, Father and Son. As dawn came into the lodge, the king and the loyal swineherd set out breakfast. Once they had raked the fire up and got the herdsmen off with droves of pigs, and now Telemachus, the howling dogs, went nuzzling up around him. Not a growl as he approached. From inside, Odysseus noticed the pack's quiet welcome, noticed the light tread of footsteps too, and turned to Eumaeus quickly, winged a word. "Eumaeus, here comes a friend of yours," I'd say. "Someone you know, at least. The pack's not barking, must be fawning around him. I can hear his footfall." The words were still on his lips when his own son stood in the doorway. There. The swineherd started up, amazed. He dropped the bowls with a clatter. He'd been busy mixing ruddy wine. Straight to the prince he rushed and kissed his face and kissed his shining eyes. Both hands, as the tears rolled down his cheeks. As the father, brimming with love, welcomes home his darling son in a warm embrace. What pain he's borne from him and him alone, home now in the 10th year from abroad. So the loyal swineherd hugged the beaming prince. He clung for dear life, covering him with kisses. Yes, like one escaped from death. Eumaeus wept and sobbed. His words flew from the heart. "You're home, Telemachus. Sweet light of my eyes. I never thought I'd see you again. Once you shipped to Pylos, quick, dear boy, come in. Let me look at you. Look at to the heart's content. Under my own roof. The rover's home at last. You rarely visit the farm and men these days, always keeping the town, as if cheered you to see from there that infernal crowd of suitors." "Have it your way," thoughtful Telemachus replied. "Dear old man, it's all for you what I've come, to see you for myself and learn the news, whether mother still holds out in the halls or some other man has married her at last, and Odysseus' bed, I suppose, is lying empty, blanketed now with filthy cobwebs." "Surely," the foreman of men responded. "She's still waiting, there in the halls, poor woman, suffering so. Her life is an endless hardship, wasting away the nights, weeping away the days." With that, he took his bronze spear from the boy, and Telemachus crossed the stone doorsill with inside to the lodge. As he approached his father, Odysseus rose to yield his seat, but the son, on his part, waved him back. "Stay where you are, stranger. I know we find another seat somewhere here on the farm, and here's the man to fetch it." So Odysseus, moving back, sat down once more. And now for the prince, the swineherd strewed a bundle of fresh green brushwood, topped it off with sheepskin, and there the true son of Odysseus took his place. Eumaeus set before them platters of roast meat, left from the meal he had had the day before. He promptly served the bread, heaped them in baskets, and mixed the hearty wine in a wooden bowl, and then sat down himself to face the king. They reached for the good things that lay at hand, and when they'd put aside desire for food and drink, Telemachus asked his loyal serving man at last, "Old friend, where does the stranger come from? Why did the sailors land here in Ithaca? Who did they say they are? I hardly think he came this way on foot." "You answered him, Eumaeus, loyal swineherd. Here, my boy, I'll tell you the whole true story. He hails from Crete's broad land, he's proud to say, and he claims he's drifted around through the countless towns of men, roaming the earth, and so a god spun out his fate, and he's just now broke away from some Thesprotian ship, and came to my farm. I'll put him in your hands. You tend to him as you like. He counts on you, he says, for care and shelter." "Shelter? Oh, Eumaeus," Telemachus replied, "that word of yours, it cuts me to the quick. How can I lend the stranger refuge in my house? I'm young myself. I can hardly trust my hands to fight off any man who rises up against me. Then, my mother's wavering, always torn two ways, whether to stay with me or care for the household, true to her husband's bed, the people's voice as well, or leave long last with the best man of Achaia, who courts her in his halls, who offers her the most. But our new guest, since he's arrived at your house, I'll give him a shirt and cloak to wear, good clothing, give him two-edged sword and sandals for his feet, and send him off, wherever his heart desires. Or if you'd rather, keep him here in the farmstead, tend to him here, and I'll send up the clothes, and full rations and keep the man in food. He'll be no drain on you and all your men, but I can't let him go down and join the suitors. They're far too abusive, reckless, know no limits. They'll make a mockery of him. That would break my heart. It's hard for a man to win his way against a mob, even a man of iron. They are much too strong." "Friend," the long enduring Odysseus stepped in, "surely it's right for me to say a word at this point. My heart, by God, it's torn to pieces hearing this. Both of you be telling how the reckless suitors, there in your own house against your will, plot your ruin? A fine young prince like you? Tell me, though, do you let yourself be so abused? And do people around you about, stirred up by the prompting of some god, despise you? Or are you brothers at fault? Brothers a man can trust to fight beside him? True, no matter what deadly blood feud rages on. Would I were as young as you, to match my spirit now? Or I were the son of great Odysseus, or the king himself, returned from all his roving? There still's room for hope. Then let some foreigner lop my head off if I failed to march right into Odysseus' royal halls and kill them all. And what if I went down and crushed by their numbers? Would I be fighting alone? I'd rather die, cut down in my own house, than have to look at the outrage day by day. Guests treated to blows, men dragging the serving women through the noble house, exploiting them all, no shame. And the gushing wine swilled and the food squandered, gorging for gorging's sake, and the courting game goes on till no end's in sight. You're right, my friend, sober Telemachus agreed. Now let me tell you the whole story, first to last. It's not that all our people have turned against me, keen for a showdown, nor have I any brothers at fault. Brothers a man can trust to fight beside me, true, no matter what deadly blood feud rages on. Zeus made our line a line of only sons. Arceisius had only one son, Laertes, and Laertes had only one son, Odysseus, and I, Odysseus' only son. He fathered me, he left me behind at home, and from me he got no joy. So now our house is plagued by swarms of enemies. All the nobles who rule the islands round about, Dulcean and Same, and wooded Icinius too, and all who lord it over rocky Ithaca as well. Down to the last man they court my mother, and they lay waste to my house. And mother, she neither rejects a marriage she despises, nor can she bear to bring the courting to an end, while they continue to bleed my household white. Soon, you wait, they'll grind me down as well. But all lies in the lap of the great gods. Eumaeus, good old friend, go quickly to wise Penelope. Tell her I'm home from Pylos safe and sound. I'll stay home right here, but you come back as soon as you've told the news to her alone. No other Achaean must hear. All too many plot to take my life. I know. You assured your prince, Eumaeus, loyal swineherd. I see your point. There's sense in this whole head. One thing more, and make your orders clear. On the same trip do I go and give the news to King Laertes too? For many years, poor man heartsick for his son, he'd always keep an eye on the farm and take his meals with the hired hands, whenever he felt the urge to. Now from the day you sailed away to Pylos, not a step or bite he's touched. They say, nor as he did before, his eyes are shut from all the farmyard labors. Huddled over, groaning in grief and tears, he wastes away. The man's all skin and bones. So much the worse, Telemachus answered firmly. Leave him alone. Though it hurts us now, we must. If men could all have what they want, free for the taking, I take first my father's journey home. So you go and give the message and then come back. No roaming over the fields to find Laertes. Tell my mother to send her housekeeper fast as she can in secret. She can give the poor old man the news. Now that roused Eumaeus. The swineherd grasped his sandals and strapped them onto his feet, and made for town. His exit did not escape Athena's notice. Approaching closer, now she appeared a woman, beautiful, tall, and skilled in weaving loving things. Just as the shelter's door she stopped, visible to Odysseus, but Telemachus could not see her, or sense her there. The gods don't show themselves to every man alive. Odysseus saw her, so did the dogs, now barking. They whimpered, cringing away in terror through the yard. She gave a sign with her brows, and Odysseus caught it. Out of the lodge he went and passed the high stockade, and stood before the goddess. Athena urged him on. Royal son of Laertes, Odysseus, old campaigner, now is the time. Now tell your son the truth. Hold nothing back so the two of you can plot the suitor's doom, and then set out for town. I myself won't lag behind you. I am blazing for a battle. Athena stroked him with her golden wand. First she made the cloak and shirt of his body and fresh and clean, then made him taller and supple and young. His ruddy tan came back. The cut of his jawline firmed, the dark beard clustered black around his chin. Her work complete, she went her way once more, and Odysseus returned to the lodge. His own son gazed at him, wonderstruck, terrified too, turning his eyes away suddenly. This must be some god, and he let fly with a burst of exclamations. Friend, you're a new man, not what I saw before. Your clothes, they've changed. Even your skin has changed. Surely you are some god who rules the vaulting skies. Please be kind. We will give you offering gifts of hammered gold to warm your heart. Spare us, please, I beg you. No, I'm not a god, the long-enduring goat Odysseus returned. Why confuse me with one who never dies? No, I am your father, the Odysseus you wept for all your days. You bore a world of pain, the cruel abuse of men." And with those words, Odysseus kissed his son, and tears streamed down his cheeks and wet the ground, though before he'd always reined in his emotions back. But still not convinced that it was his father, Telemachus broke out, wild with disbelief. "No, you're not Odysseus. You're not my father. Just some spirit spell binding me now, to make me ache with sorrow all the more. Impossible for a mortal to work such marvels, not with his own devices, not unless some god comes down in person and eager to make that mortal young or old like that. Why, just now you were old and wrapped in rags, but now look at you. You seem like a god who rules the skies up there." "Telemachus, Odysseus, the man of exploits, urged his son. "It's wrong to marvel. Carried away in wonder, so you see your father here before your eyes. No other Odysseus will ever return to you. That man and I are one, the man you see. And here, after many hardships, endless wanderings, after 20 years, I've come home to native ground at last. My changing so, it was Athena's work, the fighter's queen, and she has the power. She makes me look as she likes, now like a beggar, the next moment a young man, decked out with handsome clothes about my body. It's a light's work in the gods who rule the skies, to exalt a mortal man, or bring him low." At that, Odysseus sat down again, and Telemachus threw his arms around his great father, sobbing uncontrollably as the deep desire for tears welled up in both. They cried out, shrilling cries and pulsing sharper than birds of prey, eagles and vultures with hooked claws, when farmers plunder their nests and too young to fly. Both men so filled with compassion, eyes streaming tears, and now the sunlight would have set upon their cries, if Telemachus had not asked his father all at once, "What sort of ship, dear father, brought you here? Ithaca at last. Who did the sailors say they are? I hardly think you came back on foot." "So long in exile," great Odysseus replied. "Surely, my son, I tell you the whole story now. Phaeacians brought me here, the famous sailors who ferry home all men who reach their shores. They sailed me across the sea in their swift ship. They set me down in Ithaca, sound asleep, and gave me glittering gifts, bronze and hoards of gold and robes. All lie stowed in a cave thanks to the gods' help, and a thing of inspiration spurred me here. Now, so we could plan the slaughter of our foes. Come, give me the full tally of these suitors. I must know their numbers and gauge their strength. Then I'll deploy this old tactician's wit. Decide if the two of us can take them on, alone, without allies, or we should hunt reserves to back us up." "Father," clear-headed Telemachus countered quickly, "all my life I've heard of your great fame, a brave man in war with a deep mind in council. But what you say dumbfounds me, staggers imagination. How on earth could two men fight so many and so strong? These suitors are not just 10 or 20, they're far more. You count them up for yourself now and take a moment. From Dolichian, 52 of them, picked young men, 6 servants in their troop. From Same, 24. From Zycinius, 20 Achaeans, nobles all, and the 12 best lords from Ithaca itself. Medon with the heralds with them, a gifted bard, and 2 henchmen, skilled to carve their meat. If we pit ourselves against all these in the house, I fear the revenge you come back home to take will recoil on our heads, a bitter, deadly blow. Think, can you come up with a friend in arms? Some man to fight beside us, some brave heart?" "Let me tell you," the old soldier said. "Bear it in mind now and listen to me closely. Think, will Athena, flanked by Father Zeus, do for the two of us? Or shall I rack my brains for another champion?" Telemachus answered shrewdly, full of poise. "Two great champions, those you name, it's true. Off in the clouds they sit, and they lord over the gods, mortal and men." "Trust me," his seasoned father reassured him. "They won't hold off long from the cries and clash of battle, not when we and the suitors put out our fighting strength to prove it in the halls, my own halls. But now, with daybreak, home you go and mix with the overbearing crowd. The swineherd will lead me into the city later, looking old and broken, a beggar once again. If they abuse me in the palace, steel yourself. No matter what outrage I must suffer, even if they drag me through our house by the heels and throw me out and pelt me with the things they hurled. You just look on, endure it. Prompt them to quit their wild, reckless ways, try to win them over with friendly words. Those men will never listen. Now the day of doom is hovering at their heads. And one more thing, take it to heart, I urge you. When Athena, queen of tactics, tells me it's time, I'll give you a nod, and when you catch that signal, round up all the deadly weapons kept in the hall. Stow them away upstairs in the storeroom's deep recess. All the arms and armor, and when the suitors miss them and ask you questions, put them off with a winning story. I stowed them away, clear of the smoke, a far cry from the arms Odysseus left when he went to Troy. Fire-damaged equipment, black with reeking fumes, and a god reminded me of something darker too. And when you're in the cups of a quarrel might break out, you'd wound each other, and shame your feasting here, and cast a pall on your courting. Iron has powers to draw a man to ruin. Just you leave a pair of swords for the two of us, a pair of spears, and a pair of oxide bucklers right at hand so we can break for the weapons and seize them. Then Athena, Zeus in his wisdom, they will daze the suitors' wits. Now one last thing, and bear it in mind you must. If you are my own true son, born of my blood, let no one hear that Odysseus has come home. Don't let Laertes know, not Eumaeus either, none in the household, not Penelope herself. You and I alone will assess the woman's mood, and we might test a few of the serving men as well. Where are the ones who still respect us both, who hold us in awe and who shirk their duties, slighting you because you are so young? Soon enough, father, his gallant son replied. You'll sense the courage inside me, and that I know. I'm hardly a flighty, weak-willed boy these days, but I think your last plan would gain us nothing. Reconsider, I urge you. You'll waste time roaming around your holdings, probing the field hands man by man, while the suitors sit in ease at our house devouring all of our goods. Those brazen rascals never spare scrap. But I do advise you to sound the women out, who are disloyal to you, who are guiltless. The men, I say no to testing them farm by farm. That's work for later. And if you have really seen a sign from Zeus, whose shield is storm and thunder. Now as father and son conspired, shaping plans, the ship that brought the prince and shipmates back from Pylos was just approaching Ithaca, home's port. As soon as they put in the harbor's deep bay, they hauled the black vessel up to dry land, and eager deckhands bore away their gear, and rushed the priceless gift to Clytius' house. But they sent a herald on to Odysseus' hall at once to give the news to thoughtful, cautious Penelope, that Telemachus was home, just up country now, but he'd told his mates to sail across the port, so the noble queen would not be seized with fright, and break down in tears. And now these two men met herald and swineherd, both out on the same errand to give the queen the news. But once they reached the house of the royal king, the herald strode up into the serving woman's midst and burst out. Your beloved son, my queen, is home at last. Eumaeus, though, bending close to Penelope, whispered every word that her dear son entrusted him to say. Message told in full, he left the halls and precincts and headed for his pigs. But the news shook the suitors and dashed their spirits. Out of the halls they crowded, past the high-walled court, and there before the gates they sat in council. Polybius' son, Eumaeus, opened up among them. Friends, what a fine piece of work he's carried off. Telemachus, what insolence! And we thought his little jaunt would come to grief. Up now, launch a black ship, and best we can find, and muster a crew of oarsmen. Row the news to our friends in ambush, and wait. Fast, bring them back at once. And just then, he'd not quite finished when Eumaeus, wheeling around in his seat, saw the vessel moored in the deep harbor, their comrades striking sail and hoisting oars. He broke into hearty laughter and called his friends. No need for a message now. They're home. Look there. Some god gave them the news, or they saw the prince's ship go sailing past and failed to overtake her. Rising, all trooped down to the water's edge as the crew hauled the vessel up to dry land, and the hot-blooded hands bore off their gear. Then in the pack they went to the meeting grounds, suffering no one else, young or old, to sit among them. Eupeithes' son Antonius rose and harangued them all. What a blow! See how the gods have saved this boy from bloody death? And our lookouts all day long, stationed atop the windy heights, kept watch, shift on shift. And once the sun went down, we'd never sleep the night ashore, never. Always aboard the swift ship, cruising till dawn, patrolling to catch Telemachus and kill him on the spot. And all the while some spirit whisked him home. So here, at home, we'll plot a certain death. He must never slip through our hands again. That boy who still lives on, I swear we'll never bring our venture off. The clever little schemer, he does have his skills, and the crowds no longer show us favor. Not at all. So let's act. Before he can gather his people in assembly, he'll never give in an inch. I know he'll rise and rage away, shouting out to them all how we schemed his sudden death but never caught him. Hearing of our foul play, they'll hardly sing our praises. Why, they might do us damage or run us off the lands, drive us abroad and hunt us for strangers on shores. Strike first, I say, and kill him. Clear of town, in the fields, or in the road. Then we'll seize his estates and worldly goods, and we'll carve them up between us, and we'll share and share alike. But as for his palace, let his mother keep it, she and the man she weds. There's my plan, and if you find it offensive, if you want him living on in full command of his patrimony, gather here no more then, and living with the life of kings, consuming all his wealth. Each from his own house must try to win her, showering her with gifts. Then she can marry the one who offers her the most, the man marked out by fate to be her husband. That brought them all to a hushed and stunned silence, till Eumaeus rose to have his say among them. Noted son of Odysseus and King Aradius, grandson, the chief who led the suitors to Dulcedian, land of grass and grains, and the man who pleased Penelope the most, thanks to his timely words and good, clear sense. Concerned for her welfare now, he stood and argued. Friends, I've no desire to kill Telemachus. Not I, it's the terrible thing to shed blood of kings. Wait, let's sound out the will of the gods that first, if the decrees of mighty Zeus commend the work, I'll kill the prince myself and spur on all the rest. If the gods are against it, then I say we should hold back. So Eumaeus urged and won them over. They rose at once and returned to Odysseus' palace, and entered and took their seats in burnished chairs. But now an inspiration took the discreet Penelope to face her suitors, brutal, reckless men. The queen had heard it all, how they plotted inside the house to kill her son. The herald met and told her. He'd overheard their schemes. And so, flanked by her ladies, she descended to the hall. That luster of women once she'd reached her suitors, and drawing her glistening veil across her cheeks, she paused now where a column propped the sturdy roof, and rounding on Antinous, cried out against him. You, Antinous, violent, vicious, scheming, you, they say, are the best man in your age in Ithaca, best for your eloquence and counsel. You're nothing of the sort. You're a madman. Why do you weave the destruction for Telemachus, and you show no pity to those who need it, those over whom almighty Zeus stands guard? It's wrong, unholy, yes, weaving death for those who deserve your mercy. Don't you know how your father fled here once, a fugitive, terrified of the people and up in arms against him because he joined some Taphian pirates out to attack Thesprotians, sworn allies of ours? The mob who set to destroy him and rip out his life, devour his vast wealth to their heart's content. But Odysseus held them back. He kept their fury down, and this is the man whose house you waste scot-free, whose wife you court, whose son you mean to kill? You make my life an agony. Stop, I tell you, stop all of this. You make the rest stop too. But Polybus' son, Eumaeus, tried to calm her. Wise Penelope, daughter of Icarius. Courage. Disabuse yourself of these worries now. That man is not alive. He never will be. He never can be born. Who will lift a hand against Telemachus your son? Not while I walk the land and I see the light. I tell you this, so help me, and it will all come true. In an instant that man's blood will spurt around my spear, since time and once again Odysseus dandled me on his knees, the great raider of cities fed me and roasted meat and held the red cups to my lips. So to me your son is the dearest man alive. And I urge the boy to have no fear of death, not from the suitors at least. What comes from the gods, there's no escaping that. Encouraging all the way, but all the while plotting the prince's murder in his mind, the queen, going up to her lofty, well-lit room, fell to weeping for Odysseus, her beloved husband, till watchful Athena sealed her eyes with welcome sleep. Returning just at dusk to Odysseus and his son, the loyal swineherd found they'd killed a yearling pig, and standing over it now were busy cooking supper. But Athena had approached Laertes' son Odysseus, tapped him with her wand and made him old again. She dressed him in filthy rags too, for fear Eumaeus, recognized his master's face to face, might hurry back to shrewd Penelope, blurting out the news to never hide her secret in his heart. Telemachus was the first to greet the swineherd. Welcome home, my friend. What's the talk of the town? Are the swaggering suitors come back from ambush yet, or still waiting to catch someone coming from home? You answer the prince, Eumaeus, loyal swineherd. I had no time to go roaming all through the town, digging around for that. My heart raced me on to get the message told and rush back here. But I met up with a fast runner there, sent by your crew, a herald, first to tell your mother all the news, and this I know and I saw with my own eyes. I was just above the city, heading home, clambering over Hermes' ridge, when I caught sight of a trim ship pulling into the harbor and loaded down with a crowd aboard her, shields and two-edged spears. I think they're the men you're after, I'm not sure. At that the young prince Telemachus smiled and glanced over at his father, avoiding Eumaeus' eyes. And now, with the roasting done, the meal set out, they ate well, and no one's hunger lacked for a proper supper. When they put aside food and desire for food and drink, they remembered bed and took the gift of sleep.